K-State's lineup in the middle of the screen is the middle man, the guy that leads this squad, Rodney Magruder, 21 three-point makes in his last 6 games. And for Iowa State, they're one of 8 teams nationally where 5 players average in double figures. And Rodney Magruder. This guy's resume has first-team All-Big 12 written all over it, maybe All-American.
He's something else, isn't he? I mean, he just is so active. Watch him in the game. I mean, if you're guarding him, you feel like a pinball, getting knocked on screens all over. He moves so well, starting to get more and more comfortable with that offensive flow for Bruce Weber.
Good crew. Paul Tangen leads the way, working this game along with Duke Edsel and Darren George. You and I grew up in this area with these early Saturday afternoon games. It's culture, and K-State's got the first possession.
And it's Hilton magic here, and Fred Hoiberg has got it resurrected. Nice crowd watching this game. This is going to be interesting to see which team has to change their style to match up with the other, and even if they need to do that.
Rodriguez setting up Gibson, and K-State's on the board.
Yeah, nice step out by Gibson out to the side. And I love Angel Rodriguez, his ability to make plays in the paint. You just got to make sure that he makes positive plays and so quickly can turn the other side for you as well.
Chris, that's 21 assists against 3 turnovers in his last 3 games.
Well, those are fantastic numbers, obviously. You want to see him not doing the turnover portion of the game.
Iowa State struggled on the boards against Texas Tech and TCU a week ago. They get a second chance opportunity.
A nice ball screen up top, and the roll and weak side for Kansas State, not coming over to pick up the freshman George Niang, who's just been tremendous for Fred Hoiberg, getting inserted in this starting lineup. First Big 12 game against Kansas, 8 points out of the gate. Southwell backing Lucius inside, and there's that 4-man that can do different things for you, outside and inside.
Iowa State got caught with Lucius on it, though, big on a small.
Yeah, not what you want to see there. You got to be able to get back to it. Kansas or Iowa State going to do a lot of different things today on all these screens. They don't want to show Kansas State the same looks.
Fred Hoiberg, a lot of NBA influence. He'll get matchups, work that 5-out offense to perfection.
I love the spacing on the floor. You watch that play, and 4 Iowa State players out around the 3-point line, singled up inside on Niang.
And K-State back in a hurry.
A nice job by Kansas State kicking it out and running in transition. That was one of the things that Iowa State wanted to be able to do, was get it out in transition. Kansas State gives them a little something back.
Oh, a steal by Southwell, and Lucius is fouling, trying to slow down Angel Rodriguez. Now let's check in, planning with our Northwest Mutual Planning for Success, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual, the official financial planning partner of the NCAA.
Well, Iowa State's so good in transition. You've got to be able to pick out and get out and talk as far as who you're going to guard on the outside. Also for Kansas State, get that ball in the paint somewhere. A nice pass inside to Gibson. And now that's 3 buckets in the paint that Kansas State has had. For Iowa State, so important, the movement on the offensive end. They got stagnant against Texas Tech. And then you got to know you got to keep Kansas State off those offensive boards.
K-State getting some easy baskets early.
Yeah. I like the going inside for Kansas State. That doesn't mean you have to throw the ball in the post necessarily. You can get it there off the drive as well. But I think one of the things that Kansas State probably in retrospect, looking back on that Kansas game, thought give you too many shots from the outside.
Good take inside. Rodriguez losing Lucius in the corner, but air balls at 3.
A nice flare screen to the corner for Rodriguez, but he missed everything. Now, unfortunately for him, he's going to have to hear that every time he touches the ball the rest of the way.
They have a good 3-point shooter. Just 32% this year, but if he gets on a roll, look out. Southwell, an athletic play to save the possession, but Iowa State gets the board anyway.
lots of spacing for Iowa State. That last play, George Niang creating opportunities. But look at the floor right now. Nobody for Iowa State in the paint. You got this floor spread out. Iowa State doing a nice job out of the gates here, spreading the floor out. Couple picks there for Spradling coming through. And Gibson kind of forgets about the driver, able to turn the corner. And then look at the big man, Niang, creating the opportunity for Babb down on the baseline by sucking the defense up to the elbow. But Babb makes the play by moving without the ball. And that's one of the things that I think Iowa State sometimes, when their offense isn't going very well, they've got 2 or 3 guys standing there watching the guy with the ball rather than sliding with him.
But when it's working, it's poetry. They have scored 80 points, 11 of 18 games this year. Why that 51-point total against Tech was surprising. 9-8 Iowa State. Now this from your friends at Phillips 66. Both teams 4 of 6 from the field. Let's take a look at our Capital One impact performances. What about Shane Southwell and his career-high 19 against Kansas?
Well, he did a really nice job of recognizing the Kansas, laying back a little bit off of him, taking good shots from the outside. Kansas so worried about Magruder in that game, and Southwell knocking down 50% from 3 in Big 12 play is Shane Southwell right now from the three-point line.
Log on to CapitalOneCup.com to vote for this week's impact performance. Magruder, his first look of the day, rattles out. Percy Gibson with the board.
An open look there. They had switched. Melvin Edgin was guarding him initially. Now Edgin's going to get called for an offensive foul on that screen, but they helped on the screen. Watch in the inside. So many people, teams are guarding Magruder with 2 guys a lot of times. Here's that screen from Edgin, just a little lean into on Angel Rodriguez, but teams are guarding Magruder with multiple guys watching him. It's so hard for Magruder to get looks.
Bad pass. It flips off the hand of Magruder, but K-State is going to keep the ball. Much to the chagrin of the mayor, Fred Hoiberg, you see at the top of the screen.
Bigger lineup on the floor right now for Kansas State with Enriquez and Nino Williams, who hadn't been getting a lot of time the last 3 games for Kansas State.
Well, but he's had his moments. A big 17 points against Oklahoma State.
Well, he's huge against Oklahoma State, but the difference there for him, he was doing those points off of hustle plays. I think the last few games he's been hunting his shot a little bit more than he needs to.
That ball did not hit the rim. It is a shot clock violation. Because Williams had a chance inside at 3 on the shot clock. Didn't catch it cleanly.
Better defensive set there by Iowa State. Kansas State just misses. Nino Williams loses that going up in the air, but
and now Williams fouls for K-State, and Boo Boo Palu comes into the game. There's Bruce Weber, his first year at Kansas State. He took Illinois to the national title game. He took Southern Illinois to the Sweet 16 for 19 years. He sat next to Gene Cady, a former K-State football player. The one thing that comes to mind about Bruce Pipe is the way he can coach defense.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job on the defensive end. He's made a few adjustments in how this Kansas State team guards this year. Not quite as far up the floor as they were last year under Frank Martin, but a great defensive coach really analyzes what the offense is going to do, changes things up accordingly.
The job he did against Florida, holding the Gators to 61 in Kansas City, was a thing of beauty. Edgin just launches there. And Boo Boo Palu on the floor for the first time this year for Iowa State. He had been suspended. A junior from here in Ames. He suited up the other night, but they did not play him at Texas Tech. But finally on the floor, and he's got some experience, 53 career games.
That gives him a little more experience at that guard spot. Get that rotation just a little bit more forward. Fred Hoiberg has just done a tremendous job here, hasn't he, Mitch? I mean, gets him back to even the first year. Back to the NCAA tournament last year. I like this team. I think this team, obviously, when they're making shots, can beat anybody.
Mayer, great player here, 10-year NBA career. This is Tyrus McGee, the best 6th man in the country. Banks it in from the foul line, but he averages 13 points a game off the bench.
Yeah, you know, he's been struggling shooting the ball the last few games. 4 for 19 from 3 over the last 3, but he's instant offense. I love the freedom that Fred Hoiberg gives this team on the offensive end for Iowa State. It's just a fine line, though, you cross on freedom and getting a little too loose with the ball sometimes. Nice pass on the backdoor lob there by Spradling to Jordan Enriquez.
Interesting here, K-State subbed in. When Iowa State went to Gibson, then K-State and Bruce Weber went to Henriquez. Because Henriquez isn't a real good fit when they go to that 5-out type look, and Gibson's not out there for Iowa State.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough guard for him. Well, that's one of the things. You've got two teams here that can both go small. I think Kansas State can go bigger a lot easier than Iowa State can.
McGee's a great three-point shooter.
What's so tough about guarding Iowa State is if you're sticking to your principles and you're helping on the drive, you have to come off the perimeter. And Iowa State does a great job of driving and knowing where the guys are on the floor to kick it back out to them.
Spradling answers 3 for 3 for K-State.
Watch a little drive coming off the ball screen up top, and Tyrus McGee sliding to his open spot, a spot where Paulo can see him, and then a baseline screen. And Kansas State wants to see Spradling get back on track. He had 0 points against Kansas the first time this year. He's gone scoreless, 0 for 5 in that game. Kansas State is a much better team offensively, as is anybody, of course, but when they have balance, because that takes a little bit of the pressure off of Gruder.
But the other side is Spradling, Pipe. They don't beat Florida if he doesn't get 17, and they may not beat Oklahoma if he doesn't get 15. They got to have him to score just enough, don't they? He doesn't have to get 20, but he can't shoot a 0.
Well, you got to take that pressure off Magruder, otherwise you got everybody camped on him.
We expected this tight game at Ames. Ranked K-State is undefeated on the road this year. They haven't lost a road game since February 11th of last year at Texas. Iowa State is undefeated at home this year. 10-0, something's got to give today. Both teams off to a good start offensively, Chris. Both teams shooting 55% from the field.
Yeah, good looks, running their offense pretty well, limiting turnovers. Iowa State 2 turnovers, Kansas State only 1.
Airballs it, Magruder, right place, right time. First bucket for the all Big 12 candidate.
Yeah, and those are the ones that kill you if you're Iowa State. You get the shot that you want, which is Enriquez outside the lane, and up comes Rodney Magruder with the inside. But that's a tough one, too. Air balls are tough to rebound. I think a lot of times you expect it to hit the rim.
Will Clyburn, the Utah transfer, uses the glass, and Iowa State back in the lead.
Yeah, tough shot by Clyburn over the top. Enriquez coming from the weak side for the block shot. Clyburn had to throw that thing up high.
Another one of the successful 4-year transfers. He was 3rd in the Mountain West in scoring and rebounding in his 1 year at Utah. Spradling a little offline with that one.
Seeing a lot of touches by Magruder in scoring position. And the same deal in the first half against Kansas.
Big time move by Niang. Little 270-degree move in the middle. And a foul on Martavius Irving. That's his 2nd for K-State.
Now, no offense to old guys out there, but this is an old man game right here. Nice, steady, just a solid drive. The ball fake, get the guy up in the air, and then the finish. You never want to leave the floor by more than 1 or 2 inches for George Niang. He just he stays down low. I love his game. Smart offensive player, smart defensive player, knows his limitations, but you've got to guard him on the perimeter. He'll shoot the 3. If you get up on his face on the 3, he just puts the ball down and he's under control. You know, so many guys want to be out of control, Mitch, and Niang, a smart player, just stays under control.
Right, people talk about the 4-year transfers here with Fred Hoiberg. This is a top 60 recruit. He played at the Tilton School on the East Coast, and that school has produced Alex Oriaki at Mizzou, Nerlens Noel at Kentucky, and Kansas has a sign out of there named Wayne Selden. Big-time get for Fred Hoiberg.
Yeah, and you know, I love his game. And one of the things about guys like him, though, too, is his leadership as a freshman. Watching him in practice yesterday, somebody wasn't figuring it out. He's yelling at him to get it figured out. Where now he throws the ball out of bounds. That's a freshman mistake. But still, you love guys like this that have that leadership capability as well as a freshman. I think Fred Hoiberg's doing a fantastic job. He's got a big sign as far as the shooter goes for next year. He's going to do a great job here. I love the freedom of the offensive flow for Hoiberg as well.
Rodriguez. And Gibson, who started the game with a bucket, had a great opportunity there.
Great ball movement by Iowa State all the way around. Extra passes.
That'll drive you crazy. You're trying to defend that.
Not much you can do about that. Fred Hoiberg loves to see that. Extra passes, ball goes side to side, diagonal passes, guys passing up open shot for somebody else to get an even more open shot.
Biggest lead and a 1-2 possession lead. Angel Rodriguez, great opportunity. Niang comes out with it for Iowa State.
Oh, 3 shots just around the rim for Kansas State, not able to get him to fall.
Clyburn in a hurry. Southwell short, and it's going to be on Thomas Gibson fouling underneath. What about back in the day when the mayor was doing it on the floor here?
Well, you watch his game, and it's exactly what he wants his team to move. Movement away from the ball. Look at a little curl there, pulling up for the jumper. Such a smart player, played so hard, a competitor. And Fred Hoiberg, banner up there, the jersey retired there. You know, I talked to him yesterday about his influences in the game. Obviously, Johnny Orr going to be an influence from the transition side, but Flip Saunders from an X and O style. Had Larry Bird kind of taught him the game of freedom. Played for Larry Brown, who taught him about defense. So he's had a lot of great coaches in his background that he's been able to pull from.
Talking like the Mount Rushmore of coaches ever in the game. Gibson picks up his second foul in just the last couple of seconds, and that should put Iowa State in the 1-1 at 8:31 to go in the half. But back to Hoiberg. That does put Iowa State in the bonus. Fred was back in the old Big 8, was actually co-athlete of the year. I mean, great. He could have been a Division I football player. He was a good enough quarterback at Ames High that he was getting offers to play Division I football.
Yeah, great athlete. You know, look, there's a lot of guys out there that are great athletically, and then they don't have what it takes in the heart and the head. And Fred Hoiberg obviously had that. This is a dream situation for him. I mean, he grew up 5 minutes away from here. He's got both sets of parents here in Ames, Iowa. He's come back into a program that obviously loves him, and he's putting his stamp on it. I think he does a great job. He brings that NBA style to the game, a little bit more freedom, spreading the floor out.
Iowa State missing the front end of a 1-1. Free throwing was an issue the other night in their loss at Tech. They were just 9 of 15 in Lubbock against the Red Raiders. And a foul on K-State.
Hey, Mitch, you go back to the first 3 buckets of this game for Kansas State. All of them inside the paint. Good looks at the basket. Last 3 or 4 possessions for Kansas State. Jump shots, almost all primarily from the left side. Iowa State's doing a better job on the defensive end, but I don't think Kansas State's doing as good a job on the offensive end of moving and looking for Magruder coming off screens. They were much more active in the first few minutes, moving the ball and getting some looks in the paint.
Magruder has 1 bucket pipe, and it was on a follow. He's only got 3 field goal attempts. It's actually 2 because the bucket was on a stick back.
I think that ball's got to go in the paint. One way or another, either off the pass or off a drive. You have to get that defense to react, to collapse on you, and then get the movement to the weak side. And that's where they were successful the first few minutes.
To your point, K-State started 4 of 4 since 3 of 16. A good look again for Rodriguez.
Knocking down shots. One of the problems they had against Kansas the other night. It was a good down screen by Enriquez.
Ooh, they had him open. Magruder couldn't catch it. Iowa State got a little distance here. 2-possession lead in Ames. Now this from Phillips 66.
Right now. It's a glamour contest is all it is right at this point.
Sitting here on the last weekend of January. It's not too early to start thinking about seeding. That's why this game is important. And Kansas is tracking to be a 1 seed and play the first weekend in Kansas City. But if you're K-State, your 3 losses are to Kansas, Gonzaga, and Michigan. You take care of business. Bruce Weber's team could be a 3 or 4 seed. They could play in Kansas City that first weekend. That'd be a nice prize.
Well, you know, and from a league race standpoint too, Mitch, Kansas State can look at it this way. Yes, they lost to Kansas on their home floor. Kansas has not come to Ames, Iowa yet. So if this is a game that Kansas State can win in Ames, and Kansas comes up here and they lost last year here, I mean, it maybe is a get back to even game for Kansas State. So, you know, it's tough to look at a game that's the 6th game out of 18 in conference play and point at it as being important. But obviously everybody's just trying to keep pace with Kansas at this point.
You had some great teams. This illegal screen in Iowa State. I think Niang gets called for the foul, and then he gets kneed in the process.
Fred Hoiberg got a lot of nice stuff on an inbounds play. Let's watch here. Niang, yep, sliding into him. And then not only does he get the foul, but he gets the knee in the thigh. It's no fun. You know, sometimes the guy that's setting the screen gets put in a bad position because the guy coming off the screen doesn't do a good job of coming tight. And then you go head hunting, and that's when you get in trouble.
Southwell, and that thing got a lid on it for K-State.
It sure does. They cannot get that ball to fall. Angel Rodriguez over. How many baskets now have we seen right at the bucket?
Hey, check out the latest blogs for the Big 12. You can go to big12sports.com/CTB. I'm sure you've read my log on Ben McLemore, or on my blog. McLemore, the year that he had where he sat out, and he was a partial qualifier.
Yep.
Bill Self said what happened to him academically. He was the last guy. They had to shove him out of study hall in the year off. And then Andrea Hootie, what she did for him in their strength and conditioning program. She was the National Strength and Conditioning Coach of the Year this year. But we've seen that with guys like Clyburn in the year off. What that year off, either a transfer year, a redshirt year, what that can mean for an athlete.
Well, it can mean a ton for you if you're willing to put in the work and the effort. And guys like McLemore and Clyburn obviously took care of business also for him. I mean, it's a year for you to concentrate on the books, concentrate on your body. You don't have to worry about the stress as much of the game. And you can come so far in that year off.
K-State 0 for their last 9. In a 5-minute span, they're down 7. Biggest lead for Iowa State. Amari Lawrence had Southwell spotted up.
That's an extra pass there. You got to kick that over to Shane Southwell. Oh, my. About that. Are you kidding me? I take it back. Old men can't make that move. I take it back. Watch this kid, the freshman. Tremendous move on the perimeter. Catching it low baseline like Fred Hoiberg. A little spin move, and that's just a tough matchup. Enriquez not able to go get him that far. I love the spin away from the help. Comes back underneath, and Amari Lawrence never leaves his man on the weak side to come over and stop.
Hilton Magic rocking right now. 24-15 lead for the Cyclones. Their defense has been outstanding. But Niang's a freshman. Some old school game and some new school game. You're going to like that. I mean, this kid has got a huge upside.
He does. You know, and when I say old man, old school, he's under control. He doesn't rush anything. You watch that move. It wasn't the quickest move in the world, but it was under control. He came, he drives to the middle. He sees defense. He spins back. He sees that he's got Enriquez on him, so he can't take it up strong side, so he's able to use the rim and protect on the weak side.
He punished Texas in here for 18 points.
And important minutes right now for Kansas State. You don't want Iowa State to get away from them too far. This place, this Hilton magic, just feeds on it. I still have nightmares of playing up here. Which, of course, Fred Hoiberg liked to point out to me yesterday as well. He was like, "You never won here, did you?" And I said, "Thanks for reminding me."
One underlying tone here is Chris Babb has done a great job on Rodney McGruder. Babb is one of the best defenders in this conference, and it's underrated. McGruder. K-State needed the three in the worst way.
Yeah, McGruder, good recognition. He knew he had to switch. He had Edgem guarding him now instead of Babb, and Edgem backing off just a little bit to give him the be able to absorb that first jab step, and McGruder stepping up.
McGruder had to see Relaford on Tuesday night. He's got to see Babb today. Southwell with the take and the roll.
Two big buckets there by Kansas State to reel Iowa State back in right when Iowa State was starting to get a little separation.
Clyburn, they leave him wide open. Southwell gives us some Jamar Samuels. Samuels would struggle with consistency, but he would, nice play here. Clyburn in the passing lane and paints the rim.
Now just a bad read there by Spradling. Martavius Irving not going back door, and Will Spradling trusting him on it. Didn't come meet it. Clyburn shooting the gap.
Illegal screen. Torrey Lucius gets a run over by Jordan Henriquez. Second foul on K-State's 6'11" senior.
Yeah, both teams rely on a lot of motion, but you saw Martavius Irving. He was backing up away from the ball. Never really got contact on Clyburn, and that allowed Clyburn just to shoot right up the middle. Got to get some contact on your defender. Help you pass her out in a situation like that. Either that or cut back door and get out of the way.
They stay with some foul issues. 5 different Wildcats with 2 fouls. Offensive rebound, Will Clyburn. Iowa State came into the game the best rebound margin in the league, but that had slipped some. There were 2 games on the road at TCU and at Tech.
-3 in Big 12 for Iowa State on the boards.
Clyburn throws it away, but he had his moments, including this play.
Well, he's just getting down the floor and finishing. Will Clyburn getting Iowa State up. They needed that bucket after a couple buckets back-to-back by K-State.
And pipes.
All right, thanks, Doug. And here, Iowa State, Melvin Edgem, who averages a double-double, has yet to score today, but they haven't needed him. They're getting some other help. Right here, K-State started out at 54%. Iowa State smothered them since then.
Yeah, Kansas State went through a little cold spell there. You know, I think Kansas State can win a game shooting in the 36-40, but they can't let Iowa State have a 50% ability for the floor. They've got to do a better job defensively.
Irving hits the 3. Coming in 5 of 11 from 3 since December 22nd, so it's not an aberration. He didn't exactly shoot that one in rhythm. Back to a 1-possession game.
I like this by Kansas State, extending the defense a little bit, trying to get out on the floor. You don't want to allow Iowa State just to run their stuff.
Babb, who's been the defensive stalwart, robbed on the deep 3. K-State can tie with a 3. K-State trying to keep it alive, and Iowa State, Edgem with it. Out of Pollard. And Edgem runs the floor and walks. 6th turnover for Iowa State. Edgem a little out of sorts. He has never been in double figures against K-State in his career. He didn't get to double figures the other night at Texas Tech. And this is a guy who's just having a fabulous year. 8 double-doubles.
Yeah, 12 points, 10 rebounds his average in Big 12 games only. He's not been able to get going there. One of the few transition opportunities for Iowa State that they're actually going to be able to get to the rim. And maybe Paulo giving that ball up just a little bit too early. Edgin kind of caught it in that middle ground. Couldn't decide whether to put it down or try to get all the way to the basket without the ball.
Magruder. Really strong, and he's going to the line.
For Magruder, I don't see why you don't just do that more often. Until Iowa State can prove that they can stop you or get the help side defense, put that ball down on the floor and go. I mean, he's working so hard to get the jump shot coming off the screen. You take a look at coming off that screen, looking to put the ball down and attack.
The first free throws of the game. For K-State, they usually get there a lot. They average 14 a game. Attempts in conference play. Magruder 74% missing that one. What about Magruder? He just kind of stays with his game. He stays patient. He doesn't jack shots. Ooh, he misses the line. That is not like him. But he doesn't seem to get too flustered. He just kind of stays and just keeps grinding.
He is patient. I mean, there's no, a guy like him that's averaging 19 points a game. Other guys that start throwing up bad shots just because things aren't going their way. But he does have to be aggressive. Look at this Kansas State team. I mean, he's the guy that if you need a bucket, you've got to get the ball in his hands.
Nino Williams called for his second illegal screen of the half. There's Duke Edsel with the call. Bruce Weber's team down by 3, but with the dry stretch they went through, then we're down 7.
It's going to be a tough job calling this in a game with these two teams. How many screens per possession are there? I mean it just happened. And ball screen as well. I mean, I'll tell you, if you really wanted to be real picky, you'd probably call a moving screen about 50% of the time on most ball screens. Anyway. Clyburn should have stepped in a little bit when Babb made that drive, standing out a little too far. Iowa State starting to get stagnant offensively again, standing and watching.
That's 2 straight attempts by Percy Gibson. Here's Magruder with the offhand off the top of the square.
That's what I'm talking about. Put the ball down and go. You've got help coming on the showing on the screen. There's generally a big guy. Just keep going. Go right around it.
Iowa State led by 9 at one point. This is a 10-2 K-State run. Nearing 5 minutes. McGee. Count it. That's an element he's added to his game. Last year he just teed up threes. Oh, they're going to call this an offensive foul, and that'll catch the eye of these fans.
I thought that was a nice move by McGee, turning the corner. Watch him coming over here. Let's see if they get in. And wow. Latavius Irving was nowhere close on that play. And
the mayor's pretty calm usually.
Yeah, you rarely see him get too upset. I think he's got a little case to lobby there.
Haven't seen him this mad since he didn't get state funding for a sewer project, being the mayor. Now this is an issue down here. Irving takes a hard hit.
Yeah, got hit coming through there. Watch him again. McGee turning the corner, getting all the way to the basket, and maybe took a knee in the stomach possibly. Oh no, he got stepped on actually. DJ Lawrence. DJ Johnson coming down and stepped on him.
DJ Johnson had some big-time football looks. That's 250 pounds stepping on you.
Yeah.
The mayor is not real happy with Paul Jansen.
Watch DJ Johnson. He's up in the air trying to block the shot. Watch him come down on Martavius Irving. That's that right foot. That catches him on the side of the face there. Trying to gain his balance. That's a big man to be landing on it.
Parkway North High School out of St. Louis. checking on Martavius Irving.
It's a tough call there. That's 28. That's a 2-3-point swing there for Iowa State.
If K-State scores here, you can add to that.
Screen down screen from Gruder, trying to open him up.
Wyburn trying to heat up Southwell. Now he's got a big on a little. They switched it. And Southwell gives K-State the lead. Iowa State got caught in a nasty switch. And a timeout for Iowa State. So your swing there, give 2 more points to the swing.
Yeah, that's a tough one for Iowa State, but you got to regroup. Watch Southwell coming down here. Nice little spin back. Paulo not able to keep him away from the bucket, but that's twice now, I think, that Southwell has seen that switch and it's taken him to the same spot down on the floor. Nice recognition by Southwell, taking the smaller guard into the paint.
When you played in this league, how good could Southwell be? A play like that, the recognition, he can take it on the bounce. He's shown he can shoot threes. The potential of this guy is a little bit exciting if you're from K-State.
Yeah, I mean, he's come so far from last year. You know, different guys react under different coaches differently. And you know, Frank Martin, absolutely fantastic coach. Maybe, you know, Bruce Weber's a guy that's given Southwell a little bit more confidence. And different guys react differently. And I think Southwell has really picked up his game this year.
Another guy that fits that category is Nino Williams. He was been invisible after being a highly touted recruit. K-State with the 1-point lead after trailing by 9. K-State has 7 points off the turnovers they forced from Iowa State. Now the Cyclones need a bucket. At the end of the half, Babb going to give him the lead. Goaltending or a foul. Iowa State wants a goaltend. I think they're going to get 2 shots. DJ Johnson called for the foul.
Well, DJ Johnson coming over, and actually the contact looks like it's coming from Chris Babb's offhand. So
no goaltend, but Babb can give Iowa State the lead going to the locker room. Babb is 79% at the line for the year.
Bruce Weber now pleading his case as well.
And this is 2 straight games where Iowa State at the line has been good. 3 for 9 at the line. Bruce Weber and Duke Edsel, and now Paul Jansen joins the conversation. Jansen's had both ears filled from both coaches.
Yeah, well, that, you know, I don't think either call was exceptional by any means, and both coaches realizing it.
Well, in the meantime, Babb gets iced at the line. You know, Babb played high school ball in Arlington, Texas, went to Penn State, and then transferred here to Iowa State. But really his background is in Topeka. He grew up all the way through middle school in Topeka. His daddy, Mike Babb, was an outstanding basketball player at Highland Park, as was his uncle. The Babb boys are very famous throughout Kansas and what they were able to do in their basketball careers. And Chris has done a great job here at Iowa State. Again, his defense is very underrated, Pipe. This is one of the best defenders in the Big 12.
Yeah, he's done a tremendous job, especially here this afternoon on Southwell. You know, you always can tell a guy's importance to a team. You take a look at the minutes that he plays. Babb averaging 34 minutes a game, yet not a double-figure score.
Babb was acting like he was
something else.
Babb was going, do I get a third one?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. They said, no, that's all you get. K-State's got a 1-point lead at halftime. Well, guys, this is what we expected. A tight, tough one in Ames. Now let's go to Doug Bell and the svelte Reed Guest.